Well, here we are again for another episode of Marco's World News, broadcasting this time from the ancient citadel in Byblos in Lebanon. Now, this may look like an insignificant and unremarkable sight, but I'm going to connect this place with the English language, the Royal Navy, and every library in the world. First of all, this place and the first settlers of Byblos had to wait 3,000 years before the pyramids were starting to be built. This was occupied by a race of people which the Greeks named the Phoenicians. Now, I always thought the Phoenicians were so-called Phoenicians because they were the guys that built the building blocks for the English language. In fact, from every language, yes, these guys invented the alphabet. They didn't call it the alphabet. Again, that was the Greeks. They took the first two letters, alpha, beta, put them together, and then the name alphabet was born. Now, it's not just myself and any logical thinker who think from that's why they were called the Phoenicians, because the root word phone in Greek is voice, sound. So it's logical conclusion that's why they were called the Phoenicians. But there was a really strange coincidence. It was nothing to do with the alphabet that they were called Phoenicians. It was from another Greek word called Phoenic, which means purple. How fucking weird. Anyway, this was called the land of the purple because these guys exchanged a purple mineral for dyeing fabrics all around the world. The Greeks especially had great trading connections here. In fact, the Egyptians traded with them in the most extraordinary commodity and a brand new technology called papyrus. Sounds like a Byzantine leader, the great papyrus, even though it was just the forerunner to the humble A4 piece of paper. Now, Byblos was the epicenter. In fact, if you wanted paper, a ream of paper, in the ancient world, in the ancient times, this is where you came. This place was so synonymous with the word paper that the Greeks even called the book Byblos. In fact, when the biggest selling book of all time was published, they were looking for what to name this book. When I say the biggest selling book ever, we're talking about it outsold its nearest rival to 1,000,000 copies. They looked here and they called it the book. Yes, the Byblos, or the Bible. Now, what the fuck is insignificant about this place? These guys, these ancient people, settled here 3,000 years before the pyramids were even dreamt about. These guys were the first people to put a sail onto a boat. They were the first ever sailors. There's also evidence emerging in America that the Phoenicians landed in the Americas 1,000 years before Christopher Columbus was born. Extraordinary people. The reason why I came here is because I've always wanted to see this place. Not only are the Roman columns there and the Roman amphitheatre, the Phoenician settlements, the Egyptians have left the mark here as well. Everyone wanted a piece of this. In fact, this very citadel was built by the Crusaders. I read about this place when I was reading about Robert the Bruce, the King of Scotland, Braveheart era. Now, what's this place got to do with him? Well, Another extraordinary episode in the history of this place. Robert the Bruce wanted to come here, but he was too busy bashing the fuck out of the English to get round to it. But he almost made it here in the most crazy and weirdest situation. He almost got here after he was fucking dead. Now, when he was on his deathbed in the year 1329, he got his Lieutenant James Douglas, old Black Douglas, to take his heart out of his body, bury him in Dunfermline Castle, and bring his heart to Byblos. How fucking weird is that? Anyway, not only to Byblos, he wanted them to take his heart a little bit further south, down there, to a place called Jerusalem, and to leave his heart in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. He didn't quite make it. There was one unfinished bit of business that the dead king's heart, the old Black Douglas, had to do. And that was to go and kick ass in the south of Spain, because the infidels had encroached on Alfonso XI's territory and they needed some help from the Scottish friends. So they went down to a place just north of Malaga called Ardalis, Turon, and finally to the Battle of Teba, where the poor Scottish warriors and the Scottish king's heart was thrown into the battle, with the bold Black Douglas shouting, "Go before us, King of Scotland, or we shall die." Old Black Douglas and his merry men were defeated. In 1330, the Battle of Teba, just outside Malaga, with the king's heart lying in a field. How fucking weird is that? Anyway, more about that story in a future episode of Marco's World. Now, the infidels, not only did they go straight through the middle of Spain, they actually got to France in the most extraordinary tactical military manoeuvre not seen since 1100 years before them with the Romans. Now, people in the scripture says the reason for this rapid advance through northern Europe was not actually to cause any trouble or claim any land. They were actually on the way to Leicester and Bradford and Pollokshaws in Glasgow to visit their relatives. Anyway, tune in next week for some more shite news.